I'm joined in the studio by artist David Lovegrove. You might have seen his unique ambidextrous drawing style featured on the Qantas ads that ran during The Voice, but he's been around for a lot longer than that. And today we're here to learn how that unique drawing style came about. Welcome, David. Now,
Hi.
you're normally based on the North Coast, so what's brought you to Sydney?
Well, I'm doing another ad for Qantas. They sponsored Tropfest and what's called Tropvine. So I'm making a little 6-second Tropvine double-handed vine.
Okay,
To
fun.
help launch that.
And so how did this unique ambidextrous drawing style come about for you? How did you develop that?
Well, after drawing for many, many years with my right hand, I was just bored one night, picked up the left-hand pencil and started doodling with it, and then both hands, for some reason, decided to start working together. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And I just like new things. And, I've just played with it and found that it's not as hard as it looks.
So how long have you been doing this for?
I've been playing with it for several years, just getting really serious about it in the last year, I'd say, starting to apply it to fine art and,
Yeah, because you've got a fine art background, don't you?
So
you've trained.
I studied here in Sydney at Julian Ashton Art School, and I also did a master's in Griffith Uni in Queensland in visual art, and so I'm very much an artist's artist. But I've worked a lot in illustration and advertising. I do a lot of lecturing
And manga art.
Yes.
So how did you develop a love for manga?
Well, my best friend at school was his parents were Japanese, and always had a love for Japanese culture. And I was in Bondi Junction one day, and I found a box of comics in Japanese, and it was $5 for a whole box of them. And so I just walked off and discovered they were called manga, and took it from there. That's probably 20 years ago, but
So you were ahead of your time, really, David.
Yeah, I was probably one of the first people in Australia really getting into it, I guess. But it's sort of followed along with my passion for Japanese film, especially like traditional Japan and samurai movies and that sort of thing.
Uh-huh. And I know you do a lot of workshops in school. So how do kids respond to your work?
Incredibly. They love my manga workshops. They're very popular, and kids always line up, want me to sign things, shake my hand, say thanks a lot. They just love manga. But the double-handed thing, the first few times I did it, I remember I was in an auditorium with about 300 kids and teachers, and I just drew on the blackboard, and then everyone started cheering, clapping, standing up. I got like a standing ovation. I was really taken aback, and they seemed to think it was mind-blowing. And I tend to get that when I first do it for people. It seems to surprise them.
I think the interesting thing about that is that most often art is made behind closed doors. We see the finished work, but we don't usually see it being made. What you're doing with this is creating really a performance, and it's something that we can all be part of. Is that, do you think, why people love it so much?
Absolutely. I think the process of drawing, the process of creating a painting is a hidden thing, and every now and then you see a great artist doing something. Like I remember Brett Whiteley showing how he created a painting, which was very influential on me back in the early 90s, and I wanted to be that sort of artist. But I've always considered people miss out on the power of drawing, and I had a class once of people who I did a drawing for a minute, and when I turned to look at them, they were all standing there as if they were sort of frozen, and one person had tears in their eyes, and they just went, "How did you do that?" And it taught me that I should be showing people the magic of it. It's the performance of it is powerful.
Yeah, it's very mesmerising, and I know as a children's author that when I go to an event, if there's somebody there who draws in front of the kids, they will be spellbound. It will be the highlight. It's the bit that they really remember.
Yeah, and I think the kids especially pick up on the confidence. And I always say, look, one of my teachers, Ian Chapman, used to always say, it's better a bold failure than a timid success. And another great artist who taught me in the early 90s, David Paulson in Brisbane, used to say, work like a tradesman, put your marks down, be bold, just go bam. And there's a lot to be said for that. You're not timid, you just go for it and the energy comes out.
So it sounds like you've been working away at your art for possibly 20 or 30 years, and now here you are, an overnight success.
That's it. Yeah, like most overnight successes.
And how did Qantas discover you?
Well, I'd put a few videos on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, David Lovegrove Art, and just bizarrely, somebody emailed me and said, we're looking for somebody who can draw with two hands at once, and you appear to be able to do it. Would you like to come and make an ad with Qantas? And of course I said, yeah, fantastic. And just surprised that somebody would be looking for a two-handed artist, But
they were, and they found you. What was the process of filming like?
Well, we filmed in a huge old warehouse, and it was all, I love technology. I love film, anything interesting. And there was all the lighting experts and the film expert and the director and his assistants and the people from Qantas putting their input in. And it's quite strange, the big lights all around me. At one stage I was sort of squatting down in like what they call in Kung Fu a horse stance and drawing to the left because the camera needed to be over my shoulder. And I'm a Kung Fu practitioner. I've been practicing Wing Chun Kung Fu for many years. And I think if I hadn't been a Kung Fu guy, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But I was sort of there in this difficult horse pose and drawing away.
Classic. Okay. So could you draw anything two-handed, do you think?
Yes. If I slow down and be careful, I could draw anything. My holy grail, I suppose, at the moment I mostly draw a mirror style, but what I really would like to do is be able to draw different things with each hand. And I've realised that if I think sculpturally, it's if I feel around the thing that's in my mind. I've sort of got a thing like a box in my mind where I can see things and I feel around them, then it comes out right. And I'm also working on 10-finger drawing where I put 10 markers on, one on each finger, and then draw like that. And that's I've got one YouTube video of me doing that, but I'm going to do a lot more of that.
That's very interesting. Well, it's somewhat ironic for someone who has been plugging away at their art to find this fame and success through a commercial. It's not the path you would expect, but congratulations, it's going so well for you.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Katrina.
Yeah, I've been speaking with illustrator, manga artist and ambidextrous artist David Lovegrove about his unique style of work. Thanks, David.